Hello Toy Collector fans, Universal Toy Collector here and welcome to the channel. And welcome to another episode of My Collecting Life, the weekly series where I get to chat with you, members of the toy collecting community, about your own personal collections, finding out what got you into collecting in the first place and what gives you that toy collecting buzz. Alrighty then, so who is the guest on this week's episode? Well, why don't we all find out? Sit yourselves down, make yourselves comfortable, and let's take a look at some of his collection in a musical montage. Okay then, so yet again we are treated to another absolutely fantastic collection and it is displayed wonderfully. Wow, I'm mega impressed with this collection and display. It is a pleasure to welcome to the channel for the first time, Dez T. Hello sir, how are you?
Hello, Stu. Pleasure and absolute honour to be here with you today.
Oh, no. It's awesome to get to speak to you and have you part of the series. So thank you very much for taking the time out to do this. It's people like yourself that make the series tick. So appreciate all and everybody that come on and are part of the series. Anyhow, let's crack on with the first question. What toy lines were you into as a kid, and what memories do you have of those toy lines?
But born in '72, so really the first memories I can have thinking of toys that we had Playmobil, me and my brother. We had Playmobil, and then we had a lot of Britain's farmyard stuff. We had sort of everything from combine harvesters to the chickens to the, everything.
Okay.
And then from there we went on. We got onto sort of Action Man, and then in
Is that
sort
the
of
12-inch Action Man?
12-inch Action Man,
12-inch, yeah.
And then sort of around about sort of 78, 79, Star Wars came along, and that were it. It sort of everything went. I can remember going to a friend of ours and buying or swapping a lot of my Action Man toys for Star Wars. Yeah,
really.
So a lot of my Star Wars toys, I've not bought them brand new. It was the original sort of swap meets. In the school playground, I suppose, or after school, popping around and doing that. And then, sort of, when I got a little bit older, we just sort of, me and my brother just picked up the Subbuteo.
Oh God, yeah, I remember Subbuteo. How cool was that?
So the sort of mid-80s, we just had Subbuteo, yeah.
Yeah, Subbuteo was awesome, absolutely awesome. Love that.
And thinking about a lot of them sort of the toys we had. You could either go to the shop and buy the smallest item for pence, or maybe like a figure for a couple of quid. Birthdays, Christmases, if you've done well at school and such like, you get the bigger items, and that's true with all of those sort of ranges and sort of genres, I suppose you could call it, of toys, which is what I loved.
So what was it then with Star Wars? What, apart from the Action Man or any other toy line at that time for you?
I don't know. It's sort of it's hard to explain because it's been there for that long. It's almost just ingrained in your brain. I can't really put my finger on that one time. So I'm not really. It's a hard question to answer. I think a lot of it, looking back from an adult's point of view, I think I loved the whole George Lucas coined the used universe. Everything's wore in. Nothing's shiny and new.
Yeah.
I just it's the Falcon's a beat up car in essence. I think that was just it just is not, I don't say spoke to you, but it just sort of, that's what everyday sort of life, but somewhere else in a galaxy far, far away, I suppose.
Well, I suppose with Star Wars, you've got to look at it like, because George Lucas was very heavily into his cars, and I felt like a lot of Star Wars, it took some inspiration from American Graffiti, because you had the fast cars. He always liked speed and stuff like that, so he's kind of like obsessed with that. I mean, you had your speeder bikes. Then in the prequels, rather, you had your pod races and stuff like that. Yeah. So he was very much into cars, and that film American Graffiti, I think because he did that before Star Wars. I think there was, when I look at Star Wars, there was a lot of American Graffiti in that, in some respect, as regards to the worn look and the beat up look and
yeah
sounds and what have you.
Exactly, yeah. It's just that used universe, it gives something a crack on the bonnet, and it also, when it comes to life, it's what you do with your old car or the old boiler or something. It made it more real. Yeah. And I think as well, again, not that I'd have watched these sort of films back in the 70s, but maybe more sort of in the sort of in the 80s on TV, and that a lot of the films of the early 70s were sort of like the disaster movies, Poseidon Adventure, Towering Inferno, Death Wish. So I think, all of a sudden it is, although it wasn't called it at the time, A New Hope. It's a good feel good film, even though they are for kids.
Well, don't forget, at the time when we watched them, we were kids.
Exactly.
At that time, weren't we? So it's just something that's been ingrained with us since our childhood. And it will be interesting to hear what this generation of kids will be like when they're our age, and the memories that they have, and if there's any film that sort of like made a mark on them or ingrained in them. Because looking at it now, I don't think there is anything that would sort of like really interest me as much as what Star Wars did for me as a kid and for yourself to this generation of kids when they're our age. It's
I suppose they've got so much to watch. It's almost saturation. You know, you watch it today, it's a big thing this week. Next week, it's gone. You know what I mean? It's whereas it was a big deal if Star Wars came on the TV.
Oh, absolutely.
Because maybe in the sort of late 70s, early 80s, not a lot of people even had videotapes to watch it. It was just when it's on the telly,
Yeah.
But then I think, like you say, I think a lot of people now, there's a lot more love for the prequels now than there was maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That sort of, everyone's sort of, getting back into them a bit.
Yeah.
Whether that's because prequels.
Well, I mean, they weren't very well received, were they, at first, the prequels? But I mean, they are. I think they're a little bit more well received and a bit more popular these days. Is everything okay your end as far as sound and pictures concerned? I'm not breaking up at all or anything like that.
No, broke up once when you was asking about Star Wars, and I think you're on about what got me into Star Wars from something else, from the action man. I think that's what you said.
Like I say, the internet connection is playing merry havoc at this moment in time, and it's but we'll struggle on through, or battle on through, should I say? With regards to Subbuteo, I mean, for those of you that are in America that watch, Subbuteo is a tabletop football game where you've got like a little figure about that big on a little dome base, and you have like a full team, so you have a goalkeeper, 10 outfield players, and the aim of the game is to flick the players to get the ball up the field and score. And my goodness me, soccer. Yeah, I do apologize. That we had absolute hours of fun. I remember having tournaments with my dad. We'd set up like European Championships, and then I'd go around with my friends at a weekend, and if we weren't playing Star Wars or action G.I. Joe or whatever, we would have the day playing Subbuteo, and we'd do like World Cups, European Championships, leagues. Then, I mean, I don't think the Premier League it hadn't. Premier League was 92. So it was, we used to do Division 1 and 2, and we just used to have hours of fun. Did you have the same thing with when you set up leagues and tournaments and stuff?
Absolutely. I mean, me and my brother, we would play with the same set, but his teams would have been the Liverpools, Newcastles, and the Premier, what we call now the Premier League team. It would have been Division 1. But what I did, I played in the youth league, the local youth league. It's actually the Weetabix Youth League, because Weetabix, well, it's just around the corner. So I had my under 14s team, but I had them as the sort of Division 1 teams.
Okay.
Even the spare Panini football stickers.
Oh God, yeah! Wow.
That's what you did when you were 14.
Absolutely. I mean, how cool were those Panini sticker albums?
Oh, just the currency of the playground.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because my first real foray into the Panini sticker albums was the 1986 World Cup in Mexico.
Okay. Mexico 86, yeah.
Mexico 86. And then after that, I was just, at that time, everybody wanted to be like Maradona, like take players on and stuff like that. It was just absolute hours of fun. I mean, and I can remember going to school as well, and we used to have like mufti days, or it used to be the end of term and stuff like that. And we always used to be allowed to take games in and stuff like that. And I always used to take my football pitch in and Subbuteo teams, and all carnage would break loose and players would get broken, and I'd be like, oh God, why do I, but absolute hours of entertainment fun with those.
I don't know how many players we had with big blobs of glue around the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, we did they make them play better? Were they injured?
Yeah.
In the dining room, which was between the sort of kitchen and the living room.
Yeah.
And that was the big area. And then you'd get someone walk past and stand on them.
Yeah.
I was injured now.
Yeah, you got to substitute him off, get someone else in. But did you have because in the end, my dad got me a massive bit of boarding and stuff like that, and we had put picture on the board,
Excellent.
and then I used to hoik it up onto the dining room table and stuff like that, and that was it. I would be there for just playing on it. And the thing is with that as well, I used to do my own commentary. It was looking back at it, you must have thought, what a nutter. But yeah, just sitting there talking to yourself, flicking these players around and stuff like that. It was absolute fantastic. It was awesome fun.
But I keep meaning, and again, it's something that you keep thinking to do, and you never sort of get around to it. But I suppose, just search on YouTube for Subbuteo collections.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would imagine they're fantastic. Stadiums full of people, that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I go to these toy fairs, and I often see like the Subbuteo AstroTurf pitch and teams, and I'm like, oh, don't. And I know that if I dip in and start buying it, that will be it. I'll be getting the goals, the balls, the cups, the scoreboard, the teams and stuff like that. I just, it was absolutely phenomenal. And I know Georgie, bless her, I don't think she'd be too impressed because I wouldn't be able to set up a table anywhere because I've literally got no room.
It's a big area.
It is, yeah. Well, like I say, for such a small little figure, it does take up a vast bit of space, doesn't it? It's quite amusing.
Thing, you could get sort of you get the TV cameras, the TV, the sort of towers, referees, the little dugout boxes.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So apart from Star Wars and Subbuteo, what about Saturday morning TV viewing, like the cartoons like He-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe? Was you ever into any of those cartoons? Did you ever get any of those kind of figures, or was that not for you?
I think when I can remember walking into Zodiac's, which was a toy shop in our town, with one of my best mates, and seeing all the He-Man, Castle Grayskull, and everybody, all the new set, and it looked fantastic.
Yeah.
And I can remember my mate saying, "Oh my God, I'm getting these. These are an absolute. I'm getting these." And I just thought, yeah, they're lovely. They really look nice. But I collect Star Wars. I play with Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I've never owned a He-Man. It's, again, not that I don't dislike it or anything like that. It's just, I think that was just that little bit after I'd started sort of coming off toys a bit.
Yeah.
And again, the same with Transformers, the same with Mask. My mate, who's the same age as me, he had a few Masks, he had a few He-Man, maybe a few Thundercats.
But yeah.
I watched the sort of, maybe, but with a bit of interest.
Yeah.
But not so much for me. I'm trying to think Saturday mornings, I was probably around about the mid-80s, I'd be football training.
Okay.
Park, you see.
Yeah.
And then played on a Sunday.
Yeah, no, fair dues. So, yep, I get that. Just what I mean, I definitely know what the answer is going to be to this one, but I'm going to ask anyway. What was your favorite toy line as a kid and why? Or did it sort of like change from year to year before obviously you got into Star Wars?
Early years, loved the Playmobil, loved the farmyard stuff.
Yeah.
Setting all that up, and then a year or two with Action Man, but then just the Star Wars. It just the imagination could just run.
Yeah.
And me and my brother, we'd just play with it. We'd almost like when you're picking your football team at school, we'd have everybody lined up, and then he could pick the first one, I'd pick the second one. And then he'd have one, and sort of back and forward, and then you always sort of get left with 2-1B as the kid that knows, you can go in goal, sort of that sort of scenario.
Yeah.
And then we'd spend about half an hour or something doing that, and then setting everybody up, and then 5 minutes, if that, just sort of beating everybody up and all over the beds and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And then when for the summer holidays, my grandma, she had a caravan on the East Coast, and we would go there for 6 weeks, and that was limited for space. All we could take was just our box of Star Wars toys.
Oh wow, cool.
And we'd had a box, and again just the figures,
Yeah.
and we just play forever because you know the sort of summer holidays is like it just rains every day, so you're stuck in the caravan, and
Mm,
we'd be just sort of just playing with them constantly.
yeah. So did you see the film first then, or did you see the figures first? Well, I don't know because that'd be a bit difficult, wouldn't it? Because the figures were out about a
Yeah,
year or so after the film. So
yeah.
was it the
Well,
film you saw first?
I had a conversation with my dad the other day. I can't remember going to watch Star Wars, and maybe you could even extend that to the Empire. But he
Yeah,
said we went, so I'm not going to call him a liar. I can remember going to see Empire Strikes, Return of the Jedi,
yeah,
but um, there's a photo of me and my brother with the Palatoy Death Star,
yeah.
and we'd be, I'd say this must have been sort of 78, 79.
Oh wow.
Um, I'm not sure when it came out. I'm guessing 78.
Yeah,
So whether it be, I would assume it maybe Christmas 78 because the trees. I think the trees in the background. So and we played with that to death because I always remember you used to have the little stormtroopers
yeah,
were in each room as a guard on the cardboard, and it's like,
yeah,
yeah, I want the sort of figures to interact in that room,
yeah,
but there's a stormtrooper in there.
yeah,
That can't be right. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, again, it's just
No,
to
I
say,
get that.
yeah, yeah.
So, so what was that? What was that feeling like? And that when you'd wake up on a Christmas morning and you go downstairs and you'd open your presents and you got like loads of Star Wars stuff, or even like that for birthdays. I mean, I know for me personally, I was just a wonderful, wonderful time, and it's just like
Mm.
you know you see these boxes and you think, oh, what's that, and you rip it open. I'd always save the big box till last and stuff like.
It's just that's the nostalgia through
Oh,
looking back. You know, just sort of going down and down for Christmas, or like say birthdays, or my dad used to give me and my brother because that's the thing that my vintage Star Wars toys, strictly speaking, are mine and my brother's,
yeah,
even though they're all here at my house. Um, my dad would give me a fiver, or if dad would give me and my brother a fiver, we'd walk into town and we could get two figures. Um, and then we'd had to give the change back to my dad. So
yeah,
you get two figures for pretty much they're nearly always under £2.
yeah,
So yeah, just going into the toy shops, and that's when they'd pretty much be in every shop. You know,
yeah,
even if
yeah.
you
God, I
went off,
remember those days.
yeah, not like
Yeah,
now, but that's another story.
yeah. Yes, yes, it is. So, when did you stop playing with your toys and become a collector?
Well, I stopped playing with them. I would say 84, 85.
Yeah,
Again, I remember when I opened the box up again. So to become a collector again,
yeah.
10 years later,
Okay.
opening that box and seeing Yak Face there. I can't remember buying Yak Face, but there he is. Thank God.
Wow.
Looking back
Yeah.
at me, but there's a lot of the sort of the last 17 that I didn't have, and still don't have. There's still one or two that I still don't have, and they are the I think it's Warwick, pop
Yeah.
up lightsaber R2, and what's the other one? Warwick, Barada. Barada.
Okay.
I've got them as stand solo,
Yeah.
but not the original ones. There's so yes, so I stopped collecting about stopped playing about 84, and
Yeah.
then I started collecting again with Power Force 2. So
Okay.
that's about 95, 96.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was your thoughts on those when they first came out? Because I know you know, it was about 10, 11 years without any Star Wars whatsoever, action figures wise.
Yeah.
And
Which, which is an absolute age at the time,
oh
whereas
God,
you
yeah.
think
Yeah. Yeah.
figures are you know, you look at VC 1.0, it's you know
Yeah.
there's you know what I mean, it's that sort of time gap.
Yeah.
They are a bit yes, they're on steroids. Um, and Princess Leia looks like Fatima Whitbread.
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah.
But yeah, no offense.
Yeah.
But they were. It was just they're in your hands again. You know, Star Wars is back, and then that was at the same sort of time as the special editions, and then obviously there's talk then of prequels coming out, and then obviously it's just sort of ran and ran and ran.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. Excuse me, Sue.
Athlete back in the 80s. She did shot put, discus, javelin, all that kind of malarkey. So yeah. Oh, where am I? Oh gosh. Do you have a focus point within your collection? So although you collect Star Wars, is there anything in particular that you focus on? Like Tim from Boss Bounty, he's got his Boss collection. Do you have anything similar to that, or do you just collect whatever?
I try everything really, in a nutshell. There's no. I try to get one of each figure.
Yeah,
that's the aim. So at the moment it's vintage collection. That's the sort of aim. But it's everything really. If I need it, I'll try and get it. If I can afford it.
Would you call yourself a completionist?
Not quite. Very almost. You know, there's certain figures you're never going to get them.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. You know, if money is no object, then yes, I'd like to get everything. But obviously, it's some of the vintage collection. You know, the first sort of run. Are just and because I open everything as well.
Yeah.
Certainly, I open 99.9% of my figures. It's are you going to pay £500 plus maybe for a VC Cody, and then I'd want him open.
Yeah,
it's a bit of, you know,
unless they re-release him.
Exactly. Ahsoka. I didn't have Ahsoka.
Yeah.
On the VC card. I've got her in the 3.75 Black series.
Yeah.
But I never had her in the vintage collection. Re-released it. Happy days.
Yeah.
Same with Weequay, the original Weequay.
Yeah. Well, I'm still waiting for my Weequay to come through. I pre-ordered. I can't remember who it was I pre-ordered from, and ever since then, I've seen him at local, well, not local, but different toy shops and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, what
do you do?
Yeah. So I don't know whether to cancel it and then just pick them up and stuff like that. But we shall see. So with your vintage Kenner, then you don't mind going down the route of Stan Solo to fill those gaps that you can't, those figures that you can't either afford to get or you can't get at the moment in time. You're not a purist, as I would say.
No, it's looking back at one of your old, I think Action Pop Dad made the comment of, I know my girls are a lot older than his lad is, but it's that you're not going to spend £200 on a figure when you can get it for 30-40 quid.
Yeah.
And then that remainder money can be put into his child's toys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, if money's no object, yes, I'd like to have the originals. But I mean, be honest with you, with the Stan Solo figures, it's my brother-in-law. He gets them for me.
Okay.
It's not that I don't want them. They're happy and they sit lovely on the shelf next to the originals. But he gets a lot of figures that way.
I mean, the thing is with Stan Solo, I mean, the quality of work is top notch. And if you're looking at the figures from like a distance or even close up, you're not going to know it's a Stan Solo figure. Yes, it's got the marking on the back of the leg, which gives it away. But I've got a couple of Stan Solo figures. I've got the Luke X-wing, not Luke X-wing, Luke in Stormtrooper disguise. So I've got him. I've got the blue Snaggletooth, and then I've got the Leia, Slave Leia, and the Oola, and they look fantastic in the collection. Again, like you, if I had the money and money was no object, then I would, get the original Kenner version. But I can't justify spending, 300-400 quid on a plastic figure. I mean, I've done it in the past before, and I'm kind of not regretting it, but I kind of think, well, I can't afford to keep doing that. You know, I mean, that
Exactly.
R2D2 pop-up lightsaber, I mean, he's going for an absolute small fortune now, isn't he?
Exactly. You know, it's
Mm.
you've got to have a bit of a compromise, and you know, you've got to you know, in this sort of present economic crisis, you know,
Yeah,
it's you've got to be sensible. You know, so
absolutely.
yeah, it's I've got no issues with it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a contentious sort of argument, but they sit
Mm.
up here, you know, when I'm dead and gone, it's I don't know what they'll do with it, and I know
Mm.
that's what a lot of people sort of um, argue. Is it going to get sold as original?
Yeah.
You know, but
Well, I think if you're gonna if you buy to sell, then obviously you're not gonna. The thing is, I know that there are people out there that would try and fob off a Stan Solo as an original, or you know, but
yeah,
yeah. And as far as the current economic climate's concerned, yeah, I know nothing about that because I didn't think the ghost would be backed, but there you are. What can you do? What do I know? So, oh, there you go. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Do you have a sentimental piece in your collection or a prized piece in your collection, or both?
um, sentimental piece. Um, I've got some figures that my daughters gave me when they went to
Yeah.
Disney, Euro Disney. They made
Okay.
the build of toy figures. So I've got those sort of sitting there, little cards. So I've got one from each. So that's a bit sort of sentimental, if you like.
Yeah.
My childhood vintage figures, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Um, and I've got the Atat. I can't think where it is now. I think it's down there somewhere. Endor Atat. So that I'm trying to think what range it came from. But I've got an Atat, a new Atat
Yeah.
that when my grandma died, she bit of money that were left to me. I sort of said, right, that's going to be my last Christmas present from my grandma.
Okay.
She's,
Oh,
you know,
bless. Yeah. Yeah.
but that's about it. It all means a lot to me. So it's all sort of it's all good sort of stuff. But yeah, I'll buy it for myself. So
Yeah.
people give me money to get things for Christmas and such like. Um,
Yeah.
it's all one collection.
So if your wife came into you one day and said, "Right, we're going to move. I'm going to downsize. I want to downsize. Um, you know, can't take this with us. You can take one piece with you. What would it be?" Not that your wife would say that, I'm sure,
Yeah,
because I met your
yeah.
wife and she's very
It's
lovely, so she wouldn't say that.
so horrible for saying these things, these questions. Does the collection as one not count?
Well, do you know what? I would take that. Yeah, that's very. That I didn't think of that. Yeah, the collection has one. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
I like that. Yeah, I'll take that as your answer.
It's um, if you've got to pin me down and hold me to it, the vintage stuff, my vintage stuff, because it's my vintage toys from when I was a kid. And strictly speaking, they're half my brothers. And the vintage collection, I suppose, because
Yeah,
of what the vintage collection is,
yeah.
and
Okay,
hopefully
I
going
like that.
forward, what it's still going to be, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Grail piece. Do you have a Grail piece that you would like in your collection? When I say Grail piece, I don't mean it's got to be the most expensive piece out there. I mean, it could be that you want a piece that's worth a bit of money and you wouldn't mind spending the money on it if you had it, but it could be something quite small, like a figure that you saw in a store, I don't know, say 3 4 months ago, and you went to go get it and it's gone and you've not seen it since. Anything like that at all that you would like in your collection?
The barge, the, just the barge.
Yeah,
That's it. You know, I've been thinking about this question, and it's like, what would I like? It's like, the barge. Every time the barge. You know, I don't want to go down the route like some people do and order it from the states and
yeah.
forget about
Cheers
the
for that.
post.
Thanks, pal.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't
no,
you don't want to be doing that. God. Yeah,
seriously, I'd like the badge. And again, it's it, without banging on at Hasbro, just re-release it
yeah.
without all this, without everything. But that's yeah.
So when you say re-release it, is it because that's the thing about a HasLab, isn't it? It's an item that you would class as a dream item that you probably wouldn't expect to see in the stores? So when you say release it without everything, is that just release it without the figures? Because then that will set apart from the actual HasLab, the guys that with that. You know, would it go for the same price? Would it be even more now? Because it was what, when was that? 2019, 2018?
18, 19, yeah.
Yeah. So listen, I don't think, because I think the way it was done at the time, I think was unfair to everybody else in the world apart from those guys in the States. I mean, you had your lucky few in the UK that managed to get it via eBay, because they you know, Hasbro put a few on eBay and stuff like that but you know, people in Australia, New Zealand didn't get it, you know, the rest of Europe didn't get it. So do you think that was unfair on those kind of on those people in those countries, that they weren't able to get that item?
I think so. I mean, I know at the end of the day we're talking about toys, so
yeah,
but you know what I mean. It's just the opportunity, and I think, because you could argue, because of that discrepancy, they could put it out again without the yak face, without the jabber, and you know, just the basic sort of put some new things in there. Call it the Book of Boba Fett katana.
Well, true. You know, but that would be just like broken bits of metal in a burnt out shell, wouldn't it? Like it was in the Book of Boba Fett. I mean, you imagine that. You're like, what's this?
Yeah.
I'll be
but
disappointed.
You know what I mean?
With that.
Try and reinvent it. Don't put it in a vintage collection box. Just give it the basic package with the basic interiors.
Because I mean, they're going to be doing jabber anyway, aren't they, in the TVC? So you could use that to put in there. I think it's the same jabber anyway. Yak face, I mean, crikey, they've re-released him numerous times anyway, haven't they?
Yeah.
But I just think it's, I mean, they, to be fair, they've done well with regards to the Razor Crest, or the Razor Crest rather, should I say. They've broadened that, and then they've done the same with the Ghost as well. So you get people from different parts of the world that can get it. And listen, things like that will sell. They just need to promote it and make it available for people in different countries, because everybody wants a piece of Star Wars, especially that kind of stuff.
Exactly. I've seen it in the flesh once on the is it May the Toys Be With You tour. I was whether you've seen that, Stu. That's
I don't think I have, no, but
up and down the country. It's some guys got a fantastic vintage collection. When it was in Leicester in 2018, and then I'll see it again when it was in Northampton. And in Northampton, they had the barge, and it was like just pouring out the glass cabinet for it. You know,
did you
nice.
Did you get to go to Celebration? Did you go to Celebration?
Not this year.
Not this year. No. I mean, they had it on display at Celebration as well.
But could they do it without going on about it?
No, I don't think they did. It was Book of Boba Fett's throne room, wasn't it? I can't remember now.
Book of Boba Fett's throne room. Pre-orders, how many want it? Cut-off date. So it's almost like not HasLab, but sort of a HasLab. I don't know.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, the barge.
Yeah. No, it is a terrific piece, and I've got to say, I saw people like Only One do his review on it. Then I saw Tim from Boss Bounty doing his review on it, and I'm thinking, oh god. So I'd heard about it, that they were going to be back in this thing called the barge, but I wasn't really into looking into it too much, or I didn't really pay much attention to it. I wish I had done, but yeah, I mean, I've said the story loads and loads of times. It was on eBay. I thought it was for a fairly decent price for the secondary market, so I thought, yes, click, buy it. I'd get it sent over. And then I was like, oh, crap me. I totally forgot about shipping costs, and I totally forgot about import tax. And I was like, oh, no. So, that's the one thing that really puts me off for kind of getting stuff from the States. It's shipping. I mean, it does add a fair old whack onto your costs.
When it's unexpected, it's sort of even worse.
Yeah, absolutely. If you would be able to collect another toy line, what would it be and why? So other than Star Wars, what else or what other toy line would you like to start collecting if you wish to choose to?
I do collect as well, and this is my daughter's fault. Stranger Things pops. I know
Okay.
a lot of people are going to turn off now with a mention of Funko.
Yeah, I think this conversation's over. Anyway, yeah. No.
But again, this is rabbit hole scenario.
Yeah.
It was about 2018, 2019, and my daughter had started watching Strange Things and got me into it. And I thought, oh yeah, and I'd see the pops, and I thought, oh yeah, they're quite fun, they're quite funny. I do, you know, it's what it is. There's a good shop near me that is pretty much 90% Funko, and they rent a place where I work, so we're sort of in and around that area quite a lot, and they do make me smile a bit. No, I know there's a lot of people who are a bit sort of divided about it, and anyway, we went to the MCM Comic Con, and I thought I wanted to get some Star Wars, and there was nothing. This was just pre vintage collection coming back, so there was nothing about at all. It was all 5 POA and all of it.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, and to be fair, you could get that sort of stuff in the shops, so you sort of covered on that sort of thing. And I thought I wouldn't mind getting the Ghostbusters Stranger Things. So I got the 4 boys, and then you think, well, you've got to get Elle, and then you've got to get Hopper, and you've got to get, and then all of a sudden, you know, 40, 50 down the line.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
and there's more and more and more, which is, again, as a collector, that's what you always want, more to come out, because that means the collection continues and grows.
Yeah.
So
So it's not just Stranger Things pops that you've got then.
It is just Stranger Things pops. They're the
and
only,
there's how many? There's 40, 50 of them.
Oh, of course. I bet there's more than that. And then the chases, and then the exclusives, you know.
Wow.
But yeah, but that's my daughter's fault for getting me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, bad influence.
Exactly.
So is it? I mean, with the pops, I mean, like, you're a big Star Wars fan. I mean, would you have not have been interested in getting into the Star Wars ones at all, or you just quite happy to leave those alone?
Yeah, I must admit, I've got a couple. Again, it's like when you've got money burning a hole in your pocket and there's nothing to get, you do get sort of, your eyes wander a bit and you think,
yeah,
well, they do look quite cool, actually. They do make me smile.
Yeah.
So I'll just get them. They're on offer. I'll get them, So,
yeah. I mean, like you said, they're not everybody's cup of tea, but if you don't want to collect something, not for you, then you just walk on by. Just respect the people that do like it and collect it, because we can't like all the same stuff, can we?
Exactly.
I mean, we've got a few pops. I mean, we've not got over the top with them. We've just got a few of the ones that we do like and stuff like that, and they're predominantly Star Wars. Georgie's got like a few of the Princess Leia ones, because we've got a going back to focuses and stuff like that, we do have a Princess Leia focus where we've got a shelf dedicated to Princess Leia and Carrie Fisher and stuff like that. So that's really nice. But I don't mind the pops. I wouldn't collect all of them. There's just certain ones that I would like. Oh, okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. So and I don't mind those. I don't mind those. Would you ever consider starting your own YouTube channel?
No. In a word.
Simple enough.
Time.
No?
Time.
Yeah.
The amount of effort and commitment that you guys do, it just blows my mind. I struggle to keep up watching. So how the hell you have time to make and watch everybody as well? It's just it's just amazing. And I hate the sound of my own voice. Hate it. So I just couldn't do it.
No, I think we're all like that. I mean, it's when I first put my first video that I did and stuff like that, I put it up and I was like, oh God, I sounded awful. Yeah. But then again, I was reading from a script, so it did sound fairly wooden. Yeah. And I was like, no, this isn't.
I'm not you're saying about this, but we do a lot of stuff now just natural, and
Yeah.
then it comes natural because it's natural.
Yeah. I mean, I think that when I was talking about War of the Worlds, I mean, yes, I mean, I did have a certain bit of information in front of me. I didn't read it off a script. I just like read the certain bits of information because there was no way in God's earth I'd have walked around Horsell Common remembering all of that. I would have been like, so I just went round, filmed it all, left the sound up and walking, and I just put an overlay of, edited an overlay of me chatting over it and stuff like that. But listen, I didn't realize until I started doing this just how much time and effort that it takes to do a video. And I take my hat off to anybody out there who has got a YouTube channel, because
absolutely,
it just is, it is hard work. And I've said loads of times before, my job permits me to be able to do the content, or the amount of content that I do at the moment. If that were to ever change, then obviously I'd have to deal with that, and I wouldn't be able to put so much content out. But I mean, it is tiring, and editing and stuff like that as well. And it is all about time and stuff. But yeah, I mean, this is the first time you've done anything like this, isn't it?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
It's I want to say out of my comfort zone, but out of my comfort zone, yeah.
But I mean, it's weird because we've met, and you've met other people within the community as well, and it's just like we're sitting there chatting like face to face. Really, is that? I mean, this would be like I could have come and asked you these questions and asked you face to face. So is it just the fact that you're actually on going to be on someone's TV screen? Is that what's daunting, or?
No, I don't know. I think a lot of it's just getting tongue tied and things like that. I think, it's cocking up things and repeating yourself all the while, and yeah.
Well, I mean, listen. So far, so good. It's all good so far. It's
Honestly,
you come across very natural.
I'll say it just I think it's like you say, Stu. You're starting to talk about things that interest you and things that you've got a passion for. You just sort of run, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's what it is. It's just two guys just chatting about toys and their collection.
Exactly.
And talking of your collection, I am loving your backdrop. I just think that is so cool. And you just want to explain to people how you decided to come about doing that with the different paints and the style of display.
I'm in the attic, so that's why we got the sort of the sloping sort of roof, which limits your sort of space for figures. And again, it's limited space is initially why I started opening everything, going back to the Power of the Force 2 days. So everything sort of came off card, just so you got a smaller sort of space, and then it's I'm trying to think where we got. That's 30th anniversary. And
okay. Wow.
30th anniversary.
And let's just I don't want to make you fun. Let's just put you up on the big screen so people can have a proper look at that. I mean, that is absolutely tremendous. Okay. I'm loving that. That is so cool.
They're animated Clone Wars.
Yep.
Where are we? 30th anniversary.
Yep.
And below that is Revenge of the Sith. And then that side, there's a lot of the battle packs. And then Attack of the Clones figures underneath that. Obviously, you can't see that. I've got all my Power of the Force 2 there. Phantom Menace, Power of the Jedi, Clone Wars, Saga Collection 2. And then behind me, in that room behind there, are all the 5POA stuff. Force Awakens, hence that's why they're behind there. Vintage Collection there.
Yeah.
And Black Series 3.75 next to over there. So, which I'm sure I've sent all the photos to you, Stu.
Yeah. And, you've got Black Series as well, have you?
No, only 3.75.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
I've got literally a handful of 6-inch figures, and again, just because they were like £3 or £4 in Asda, almost like you can't leave them there for that price.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think you've got a fantastic collection, and I just love the way it's displayed. And that's what I like about doing this series. You just get to see so many different collections and the way people display them and stuff like that, and no one's like sort of like the same. I mean, you know, I could look at you and think, oh, I like that idea, and I'd nab your idea and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's collection is totally different and personal to them. So absolutely awesome.
Yeah, well, I did see on Paul's Collectibles, I've got, it's like a box, I already can see it. There's nothing in there at the moment, but it's quite a thick box.
Yeah.
And he's got his 6-inch figures in there. Basically like a picture frame, but with and I've got one behind me, but it's literally right behind me on the door.
Okay.
And again, it's like a picture, but with figures in. And again, I've pinched that off Paul's Collectibles.
Yeah.
Just a nice little idea, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I like it because you've done. I mean, yeah, because it's you were saying it's different paint, isn't it, on the wall and stuff like that, and then you've just like there's light. Is there lighting on there?
No light. I've got the lights above me. There's 3 tracks with 3 lights, so I can turn them and put them down and turn them whichever way I want. Trying to get off my bald spot.
Yeah, I get that problem as well. Look like a frigging glitter ball at times. So, you know, that's what I've got to make up and to dim it down a little bit. But
and that's So I mean, but initially I only put those in about 2 years ago. Initially, it was just 3 light bulbs. But where I am now would be quite dark, but I can turn them around and that.
So how insulated is the loft then? Because I know sometimes it can, I could, with my dad's loft and stuff like that, it gets really cold within the winter, but then it can get quite hot within the summer. So how do you go about keeping it cooler when it's hot and then keeping it warm when it's sort of like cold?
Underneath the plasterboard, there's a lot of insulation there that I've put in. And I've re-roofed it myself as well. But it's still, with all that, it still gets hot in the winter, in the summer, and really cold in the winter. I've got a roof light, so I can open that when it's hot. But it just means in the winter I don't come up here very often. So I'm trying to get things sort of slowly downstairs into the actual house. But
right. And what about because these bits here on the slanty bit of your roof there, are they carded?
I've got here.
Yeah.
They're my 30th anniversary concept figures.
Right. Do they get affected by the cold?
Not really. They're just starting to yellow slightly, but I don't know whether that's because some of them are in Star Action figure cases.
Okay.
But yeah, I think they're going a bit yellow. But they just look better with the card art. That's what I say. 99.9% of my figures I open. It's just things like that, other 0.1%, things like that. I'll keep sort of carded again because it just looks. It just
Hang
looks.
On a minute. Oh, that's Harlan. Is that Harlan and Chewy? Yeah.
Yeah. It just looks better in that, you know.
Yeah. I've got those. I keep mine in that. I think I need Ben and Vader. I think because I've got is it Leia and Luke and then Han and Chewie. So awesome stuff. Oh, who?
That's the Ben and.
God, I remember when they came out. What were they anniversary figures?
They 2001.
Oh my God! Wow.
Jedi.
2001. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, we're coming up to the top of the hour, and I've got 2 questions left for you. So here we go. What gives you that toy collecting buzz?
I think 2 things. Initially, I know this can divide the room as well. Hasbro live streams, when they announce things, that excitement sort of just running into what's coming out, and then it's a bit of a repaints. Repaints, you know.
Yeah.
But if it's a clone, no problems, because you know it's got an open checkbook. I think, you know, when George Lucas came up with the Clone Wars, it's like the same thing but different color, different, you know what I mean? So things like that. So that gives me a buzz. Not so much now, but when we used to go to the shops, whether it used to be the Toys R Us or Woolies, or even if you could get to the to Asda's and Sainsbury's or whatever, just going rifling through the cards to see if you've got them all. Because that just takes me back to when I was a kid. Just rifling through the pegs with all the figures on. Got good, all the way to the back. That sort of thing. At least when you can still sort of do that when you go to the toy fairs.
Yeah,
things like that, that's what takes me back. I can remember going to Taylor and McKenna, which was a local shop in my town. It's a phone shop now, as they all are. But used to go in, and they had some stairs at the back, and you could go up the stairs, and they had like a half landing, and then you go up another set of stairs to obviously upstairs. And you could, when you're up this flat piece halfway up, you could look over into the stock room, and you could sort of look down, and there's a new box there.
Oh wow!
We'd sussed out the what boxes were the Star Wars boxes. So you'd go in, me and my brother and my mates, and you'd go through all the Star Wars figures. I've got all of those, and I want some new ones. And just going, asking some of the store assistants, can we have a look at the box, please? Can you get the box? I mean, we were just cheeky, but you just didn't think of it. All I was concerned about is I've got to have a look in that box because I need them. I want to have a look at the new figures. And I can remember seeing all the new Return of the Jedi figures in there, Gamorrean Guard and Bib Fortuna, Admiral Akbar. Oh, it was like, wow. That that you just can't replicate. That's the
I mean, I used to love just walking through the shops, like you say, back in the day, and you go to like a Toys R Us or like a dedicated toy store in your local area, and you just see, from floor to ceiling, just full of, like, the toy aisles were full, and I just absolutely loved that. And it's not going to get replicated today in stores. I mean, if you go to places like, I guess, Nerd Base, or you go to iCollectibles up in Blackpool, or you go to these all the cool stuff down in Fordingbridge, you've got all these different speciality niche shops now that do this kind of thing, but they are few and far between. And I just love that as a kid, seeing all the different card art and stuff like that. It's such a shame it's not like that these days in general stores.
Exactly. I think that's just a big appeal of the vintage collection.
Yeah,
because it's just pulling at those heartstrings, and that's what we like it all. Even
absolutely.
me as I'm looking at, when I brought a new figure, I shall keep it carded for a time, and then I shall open it up. You know what I mean? So I'm keeping that carded for a time, and I still got to keep all the cards. I'll keep them all sort of in a box, sort of safe.
Yeah.
But even the boxed vehicles and play sets, you can have them behind.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got the room.
yeah. And what about going to toy fairs? Do you enjoy going to toy fairs? Because I know I've seen you at a couple in the last few weeks, which has been it's been awesome meeting you. But I mean, how excited do you get when you go to toy fairs and stuff like that, and you go around rummaging through and finding these bits and bobs?
It's the thrill of what's going to be there.
Yeah.
Is that going to be there? Are they going to? Is that company again? You can look on social media and sort of see, they've got a photo of their stall, right? Okay,
yeah,
I want to go there. I know for celebration this year, there was a figure that I wanted, and I see that In Demand Toys had it for a great price, and they put their pictures on of their stall ready for celebration. Well, my nephew on the Sunday, and I said, "Oh, can you get me that figure, please?" And he sent me a picture when he was there on the Sunday, and it was just like a tornado had gone through. There was like half a dozen figures left.
Oh wow!
But you can see things are there.
Yeah. Did you manage to get your figure or not?
Not that figure, and I still need it to this day.
Oh god, no, gutted.
That's Anton Astromech droid.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I'll get him. I'll get him.
Yeah. And what about when you open figures? I mean, do you do what only one does and open it up and sniff it, or is that not your kind of thing?
No, it's always you sort of open it up and you think, I've been after this figure for ages, and you get him out and you pose with it and you look at him and all that sort of stuff, and then he just sits on the shelf. But I
Yes,
do
it's just that, isn't it? It's on to the
exactly
next one, I guess, isn't it?
exactly all that effort to
Yeah.
get him, and then he just sits on the shelf. But I did when I got Boba Fett's throne room,
Yeah.
Jabba's throne room. I set it up and I sort of went round and I got a list and I went round the whole sort of rooms looking for Jabba's goons.
Yeah.
And then you think, well, okay, well I've got a couple of Bib Fortunas. I'll get the better one. So the vintage collection one sort of
Yeah.
was picked. But then I have to have the where are they? Jabba's dancers, Power of the Force
Okay.
2.
Yeah.
So they were, but it's world building. You know,
Absolutely.
whether
Yeah.
whether the figures are 20, 25 years old or whether they're 2 months old, they were
Yeah.
in that, and that's I did like that. I did enjoy doing that. But
Yeah,
then
that's
the OCD in me got me, and I like, right, they've got to go back to where they live.
awesome. And what about when you go to places like NEC Toy Fair or Echo? Do you go with a shopping list? Like, this is what I'm going to get, this is what I'm going to get? Or do you just go in with like an open-minded thing? Okay, whatever I get or whatever I see takes my fancy. And what is that? Oh,
This
is
is
your
my
book, is it?
this is my the little book needs book.
Oh,
So,
okay.
there's too many in there to mention. So that's always in the back, and I've got on my phone. I've got the got my list of what I
Okay.
want, which is collection.
Awesome.
A lot of the figures in there now. There's a few from Attack of the Clones, the Saga one box.
Yeah.
I need a lot of the figures. Power of the Force, sorry, Power of the Jedi. I've got all of them.
Yeah.
What else? Power of the Force 2. You know, so you can sort of look at the figures and as you see the display,
Yeah.
I know I've got that, so I don't need to go through everybody. You know what I mean? So things like that.
Yeah.
And that. But yeah, there's always sort of some you sort of you pick up. But yeah, and I love going to and especially the last couple of years, meeting people. Whereas before you're going on your own or go with my brother-in-law or whatever.
Yeah.
The wife and the kids and that. But it's seeing people. So half of me now is not looking at the tables, it's looking round to see, oh, there's Vintage Dave.
Yeah.
There's Matt. There's Tez.
Yeah.
There's yourself. There's lovely Georgie and Si and everybody and the community. Fantastic. Love it.
Yeah. It is awesome. Like we're saying off screen, weren't we? How much of a different dimension it adds to actually going to places like these now.
Yeah.
And I think this year really has sort of been a fantastic year as far as going to conventions are concerned. You know, we myself and Georgie, I think we did NEC Toy Fair at the beginning of the year. Then we did Celebration. There's been a few Sandown Park ones that we've done, which are local to us. Then obviously we went to NEC and Echo, and it's just meeting people, and the community is just absolutely amazing. So it does add a different dimension to going to these fairs now for sure, and these conventions.
Yeah. And with ZSR on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Just like-minded people talking predominantly food.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was a toy channel, but obviously it's they should have set up their own cook channel, shouldn't they? The two of them, but
yeah, it's love it.
But I mean, I used to get disappointed when I go to like a toy fair or something like that, and I'd be like, oh, there's a bit dry. There's nothing really stood out for me, so I've not bought anything. And I used to, I can do that now and not have an issue, because if I meet people there, then it's made the day anyway. So it wasn't. It's always good fun looking around, and if you come back empty-handed, it's like. But now, if I come back empty-handed, and I've seen people there, it's all good. Anyhow, let's crack on. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say, Stu, it's almost like I've gone and I've collected photos with people.
Yeah.
Or DTM or anybody, it's just nice. You've got that.
It's memories, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's it's awesome stuff. Absolutely,
exactly.
Absolutely. Right. Last question. What does your collection mean to you?
I think this is the question I've been struggling with out of them all. If it all went tomorrow, would I be upset? Of course I would. It
Yeah,
doesn't mean it means the world to me. But if it all went, I'm sort of I'm a practical man. I know I can get it again, or I can, you know what I mean. But I love it. I come up here, I can just unwind, I can just
mm,
look at it and just reminisce. I
yeah,
can just distress. It just puts a smile on my face.
yeah.
It's. But if it all went, I'd have fun collecting it again, I suppose.
Well, the thing is, I would call it. I mean, collectors will probably call it the most important thing of the least important things,
Yeah,
because I know
yeah,
there's more important things in life out there for sure.
exactly.
Absolutely, 100%. But I, collecting is a very personal thing. I feel everybody collects differently. No one collects exactly the same. As in, yes, we collect the same figures, but or the same lines and stuff like that. But people will collect like vintage collection or Black Series or 5 POA,
Yeah,
He-Man, whatever that person's collecting is personal to them. So it's gonna mean a lot to that person. And escapism, it's nostalgia,
yeah,
it's opening doors to a fantastic community that I didn't know existed until a few years back, and I'm getting to meet people like
yeah,
yourselves and Only One and Salacious Rum and the likes Scuba Pete from America, and it's just I don't know I think people that don't collect, I think they find it's difficult for someone on the outside looking in to kind of understand what we mean and what we're talking about in that respect.
yeah, yeah. There's a guy at work um, who I work with, and he sort of says, if we all like the same things, life would be so boring. And I
Absolutely.
thought, yeah, and that's coming from an old chap. I won't mention his name, but he's right. You
Yeah.
never get to do this, you never get to do that. It's because everybody else is wanting to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's so yeah, it's yeah, no, I love it. It's like I say, it's just part of me. I know it sounds a bit sort of
No, no, not at all. Not
cop
at all.
out, but yeah,
I think, it's, so who was I talking to the other week? And someone said, like, seeing their collection is like letting you see a bit of themselves. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I've always been, when I started collecting, I was very inward. It wasn't something that I would brag about, or not brag about, but it was something I wouldn't
yeah.
talk about. I kept it to
I know what you're
myself
saying.
and kept it very personal. There's still a few people that don't know, but on the whole, yeah, if I didn't want people to know about it, I wouldn't do a channel and I wouldn't have it all on display for
Exactly,
everybody to see. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly. Yeah, yeah. You always think, you know, you see you get introduced to a new work colleague or someone like that, and you sort of
yeah,
do I tell them what I like doing? Are they going to look at me as some sort of nutcase? Um, but you think, I always think, well, perhaps they collect it too.
yeah,
They
yeah.
don't,
They
but
don't. Oh,
it's I'll keep trying.
yeah, yeah. No.
But yeah, it's. I mean, I'm sort of good, and this is another thing with the community. My brother-in-law, so he collects more vintage figures, and he does his own customs and things like that.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
I'll be constantly talking to him about figures, or if you see this, or I'll send him a link and this sort of stuff, and then he'll send me links of sort of custom things that he's sort of found or into. Um, so so yeah, it's I just love Star Wars,
Yeah.
action figures predominantly.
Yeah. No, no. That's awesome. Awesome. Des, my friend, that has come to the end of the conversation. This hour has flown by yet again. It always does. Where can people find you on social media?
Instagram, that's pretty much. I am on Facebook, but that's more the sort of family, sort of
Okay. Yeah.
orientated stuff. But yeah, Instagram, it's and I'm nearly always in the chat on a Friday night in
Yes. Yes, you are.
in the public house that is ZSR or ZSR for the Americans.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Okay, well, listen, that has come to the end of the chat. I've got to say, I've thoroughly enjoyed chatting with you, Des. Thank you so much for being part of this series. It does mean a lot. First time, I think you've done absolutely fantastic. So yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely
it.
awesome chatting to you, man.
I'm
I
absolutely
hope you found it okay.
It was daunting, but getting into it, yeah. You're talking about things that you love, so you know, I could just run and run and run with things like that.
Awesome
It's just
stuff. Awesome
listen to
stuff.
me
Well,
own.
listen, you are welcome on the channel anytime. I wouldn't want to push you into anything that you didn't feel comfortable doing. So obviously, you know, if you know, the door's always open. If you want to come back on the channel again and do something else, then you're more than welcome, sir. Absolutely.
Well, looking forward to the quiz, Stu.
Oh yeah. Your name's down on that, isn't it? That's going to get a bit. I think that's going to get a bit spicy. The later we get into it, people are going to start getting competitive. Absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's good though, because I like that. It's all good
Exactly,
fun
yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Exactly. At the end of the day, Stu, it's all about fun. It's all about enjoying it and yeah, just having a good
absolutely, absolutely.
time. So yeah, so looking
Anyhow,
forward to that.
ladies and gentlemen, this has been Des. He's been an absolute star. First time on a YouTube channel. So yeah, awesome stuff. Just want to say, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for sticking with us. Appreciate you watching. Take care, and we shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.